So I use a technique that was taught to me by my higher self and the teams I work with, a bilocation of literally taking your consciousness and going to a place. So you have a simultaneous way of uh, um, having an experiencing in that environment or that location, but at the same time, you could still feel your hands, you could still feel being in this environment. You have an overlay. It's like having a two sensorial overlay between where you are, your body is, and where your consciousness can go to. And they were saying that's for a very good reason. And I sort of alluded to that before, that, physically going up to beings of that energetic nature just would be extremely difficult for a human body in current condition because of just how much stuff would rocket to the surface. And when I come back from those experiences, even just the reintroduction of that aspect of my consciousness coming back into my body, having experienced that energy, brings stuff up. And I have to work through it. And that's all part of the acclimation, the synergization process to level up so that you can get used to working more closely with those higher dimensional energetics. So it is a beautiful, sort of play and counterplay in a way. But coming back to your question, so there's lots and lots of different pockets and different lineages and cultures that have been living within the earth, and a lot of them for hundreds of thousands of years, of what they have told me. And so, yeah, it's one of the big things that they are saying is they really would love to, because they consider humanity, surface humanity, their sort of brothers and sisters, almost like a sort of, if one aspect of a lineage of beings decides to go this way and another one goes this way and stays on the surface, so there is this interconnect between a lot of the inner earth civilizations and the surface dwellers, as you might call it, us guys walking around on the surface, So there is that there, but they have so much beauty to teach and help us remember. Again, when I have these experiences, the delight, and I love that word because it really helps people understand what we're going to be living in when we live from this, from the core source love intelligence, our core intelligence. The living delight of being alive in of itself is so profound. The feeling is so sweet. You don't need anything to happen outside you to feel that. It's there, and it will be there all the time. And when I have experience with these beautiful beings on the inner earth, they live that. They are so serene. They're so gentle and so peaceful. And they really are looking to connect with earth. And they're waiting. There's this real excitement that I get the feel of they're looking to connect with the surface population. Because, there's a great deal of stuff to help people remember about humanity's history, about what humanity has been through, lots of the cycles that, history doesn't record, and so on. And, there are profound new understandings of the ways of being because they don't have technology like we have it. Like I spoke before about the mechanical, almost dead structure-like nature of how we build things, assemble things, create, technologies and so forth. They don't do it like that. It's not like that at all. These are living, organic innovations, let's call them that. And they're all based on concepts that are of living, intelligent energy, not dead mechanical structured energy in a way. So they live in environments where things are much more expanded. I've really got the perception that the crystalline structures that their houses, the sort of I wouldn't call them cities. Cities is the wrong word, but it's quite a central hub, let's put it that way, which is crystalline in nature. And so the entire complex of that is literally emanating, living, intelligent, uplifting energetics. It's a symbiosis. And so in this world, that's a very interesting contrast to bring in there, if you don't mind, because we're used to living in what we consider, particularly people in cities, sort of highly dead structure. There's not much energetics. It's very low, very, the energetics are not very generative at all, as most people living in cities would I'm sure agree with. In their communities, it's massively different. Those communities, those hubs, massive crystalline buildings, are purely generative. It's enriching and enlivening to be there. It's completely different from what we're used to. For me, I'm very sensitive energetically. If I go into a city, it's like, God, I need a shower energetically. It's like, it really is very impressionable just how impinging the energetic environment is on you, compared to being out in nature, for example. And by contrast, their civilizations, the way they live, everything almost gives off this sort of effervescent glow. Now, that glow is a living, intelligent glow, and a lot of people coming from a scientific engineering background say, well, what on earth does that mean? Well, the thing is, what we're used to with working with light, lasers, you name it, everything in normal physics and engineering purposes. The nature of our understanding of what light really is, what is a photon, what is a packet, a quanta of energy within a light field, what is it really? And one of the things that my teams have described to me is that it is a living library, but humanity doesn't understand how to access that properly or use it right now. And so this is one of the many wisdoms that is going to come forward and teaching us and learning how to understand and move into a paradigm of living, organic, intelligent environments and innovations. And for example, they have systems of access, a lot of these, which are in fields. So if they want to store information like we would consider it a library, somebody would write a book, they'd stick it in the shelf. There you go. You just go to the library, you access your book, you read the book, that's your information gateway. Now, what a lot of these civilizations do is that information and experiential living information is stored within fields. You access the fields, and then you have the experiential download of the understanding that is right there. Now, that's a very cool thing, because in order to access that, you have to be able to synergize and reach the level of the energy consciousness that put the information there to start with. So no, you can't just go in there and say, yeah, bring it on, it's, and that's another beautiful design in of itself, because it means that you have to show that you are evolved enough to work with that energy, that work with that information. By attaining that level, then you can access, then you can, work with those level of energetics. And this is what my team say to me a lot. When I ask for information, they'll almost say, well, you haven't reached the level yet. You're not ready for that yet. You still have a little evolution to do before you can reach that point. And I think that's just a perfect and beautiful way to really share with your audience that this is really, how the fundamentals of the universe is put together. Are you, in order to be at the level of wisdom to attain, to move into those living energetic innovations, can you match that? Can you go into your core, open up and match or synergize with that level of energetic environment or energetic state that you are trying to access? If you can, there you are. It's yours for the opening. But you have to be able to match it first. And so, yeah, that's very much how these beings live. And, they were very giving, very sharing, really wanted to see humanity succeed. And I do believe that, they were so excited because it's so near. That's the impression I get. It is so near. I can't give you exact timings or dates because it does involve a lot of conscious choices. You see, the more people make more choices to go inside and expand, the faster this is going to come. So there aren't any definite, it's going to happen 2 years from now to the day, because people, love to have exact dates, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And it really is down to the faster and more open you can be, the more you can synergize with the accessing and the living in that energy that you want to be in, the faster it will come to you. It's as simple as that. And as we do it more on a collective scale, then the whole world will start to experience that faster and faster. And that really is, in a simple way, exactly how it works.
Hey there, Inspired Evolutionary. If you absolutely love this, well then here's a full conversation with this guest on the Inspired Evolution podcast. Check it out now.